What is up, guys? Phil coming at you with a brand new Weiss Schwarz deck profile. If you guys didn't know, Data Live is finally coming to Weiss Schwarz and it is scheduled for release in July of this year. Of course, in the lead up to that, as always, Weiss Schwarz Japanese website has been releasing previews of some of the cards from the set, and I am so excited about this set coming. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea about a deck I'm currently considering building when the set comes out. Now, of course, I want to get a few things out of the way first. This video was filmed on the 19th of May 2020, so we'll only be including cards from Kadokawa Fujimi Bunko and the Data Live revealed cards up to the 19th of May. So if any new cards come out since that date, they won't be in this particular profile, but they will be doing further updates to this profile as we go along. So you will see cards with the sample watermark on them, obviously, as these cards haven't been officially released as physical cards, but I really wanted to do a deck based on that. Also want to mention that this is a deck primarily focused around Kurumi Tokisaki, ergo I want to try and build a Kurumi Waifu deck as one of the many decks I want to build when the set comes out. So that is going to be the theme, and of course we are going to sacrifice some really good cards like the level 1 Kodori and the level 1 Toka from this build for the sake of running more Kurumi Tokisakis. Now that's out of the way, of course, if you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, and of course feel free to subscribe to the channel as well if you like this content. Now that that's out of the way, guys, let's jump into the profile and hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Starting things off, as always, with grade 0, we have 3 copies of Kurumi Mad Nightmare. She has 1000 power, and at the start of the climax phase, we can choose one of our characters and pump it by 500 power. She's also a brainstormer for tap self, and we can reveal the top 4 cards of our library. For every climax we reveal, we get to search for a date or spirit character. Now, of course, I want to mention quickly as well that whilst Data Live is semi-compatible with the Kadokawa Bunko set, particularly I think it's the FDL cards, so basically all the Data Live cards from that are compatible with this, there is not 100% synergy between those two sets. Now, pretty much every card in this set has date trait. Some of the characters have spirit trait, some have AST trait. The only trait that carries over from Bunko on some of the cards is spirit trait. So the Origami and the Shido cards, other than the Origami Runner, do not combo with this deck. So you need to be aware of that. But yeah, this is a really good card to mention as well. And we'll be running 3 copies. It's a great. Finally got a proper brainstormer. Replace that Yoshino. Moving on, our next card is one of the most interesting cards in the deck. It is Transfer Student Kurumi Tokisaki. So she's a global 500 support for all date and spirit characters. She has an activated ability where you can rest her and choose 2 characters with date or spirit from your clock, chuck them into memory, and at the end of the turn, you got to put 2 cards from your memory into your clock. Her second ability, again, is an activated where you can rest her and choose up to 2 characters with Date or Spirit in your waiting room, chuck them into your clock, and at the end of the turn, you will put 2 cards from the bottom of your clock into your waiting room. Now, this will trigger anti-heal, I am told, but what's really interesting about this card is it actually synergizes really well with all the Kurumi cards. All the Kurumi cards have some of the best flavor I've seen in Weiss Schwarz cards in a really long time. These cards really feel like this is something that Kurumi would do if she's in this game. They all require the clock, they all deal with how much damage, and this card sums her up perfectly. Like, she can reverse time, she can deal herself damage to do things. This card is absolutely great. You can use it to level yourself up if you need to. I just love this card so much. It's really weird, but once you start realizing what the rest of the other Kurumi cards do, it's really good in the deck. Next up, we have 4 copies of Split Body Kurumi. Now, this is mostly just a filler card for now. Feel free to run more copies of this if you like, because you can run as many of this as you want. I'm just running it as a placeholder for now. So she gets, at the start of your climax phase, she gets plus X power to the end of your opponent's next turn, where X is the amount of Split Body Kurumi in your clock. So what's really good about this, in combination with our previous Transfer Student, you can actually put more copies of this from your waiting room into your clock, make this really big swing, and then at the end of the turn, you're going to heal those 2 Kurumis away anyway, but this is going to keep the power until the end of your opponent's turn. So it's actually a really, really good card if you want to run lots of copies of it. I'm hoping to replace it because it does feel a little bit jank, but hey, it really, again, does really fit the flavor of Kurumi. Next up, we have 3 copies of Power to Turn Back Time Kurumi. And this is another great card that really fits through the flavor of Kurumi. So she has 2 effects based on your clock. When she attacks, if you have 4 or more in your clock, you can pay 1. And if she do, she'll trigger check twice. At the start of your opponent's climax phase, if you have 3 or less in clock, she becomes a free runner to anywhere in your front row. This is really powerful as you do get 2 uses out of it. And of course, you can use that transfer student Kurumi to your advantage as well to get extra effects out of it. But we're not done with cards that interact with how much damage you have in your clock. We have 3 copies of Shaken Heart Kurumi. She has 2/5 power, again, Dead Spirit. And she has an auto effect of pay 1, ditch 1. When she enters the stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, you can choose one of 2 effects. If you have 3 or less in clock, you get to deck search for a Daedalus Spirit character, and if you have 4 or more, you can actually salvage a Daedalus Spirit character. So again, this card works really well with Transfer Student. If you need to salvage, you can do yourself a bit of extra damage to get that out. Or if you need to deck search, hey, you can now freely go and search your deck. So Transfer Student seems really weird, and when I first saw it, yeah, it was kind of janky. But now that I know what all the other Kurumi cards do, makes perfect sense why a card like that actually does exist. Next up, we have our first non-Kurumi card in the deck. We have 2 copies of Against Human Toka. 1/5 power, Date Spirit, and when she enters the stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character with Daedalus Spirit, add it to your hand and then ditch 1. Her other effect, of course, you can discard as an auto effect. When she enters the stage from hand, you can pay the cost to discard a Daedalus Spirit and draw a card. So essentially, she's a Risu from Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, but she's from the trial deck, so she'd be a bit easier to get a hold of. The last grade 0s we play are 2 copies of Kaguya and Yuzuru Dancing Wind of Berserk. When it comes into play at stage from hand, you can check top card of your deck, either leave it at top or chuck it on the bottom, and she's going to give level 500 to all Spirit and Bunko characters. Of course, it'll just rate for our Bunko characters, but we mostly use it just to check the top and can combo really well with our Toka. Moving on to grade 1, first off, we have 4 copies of Elegant Clockwork Kurumi. This is things that get a little bit weird, as you know, didn't see any blue at level 0, so Kurumi is in 3 colors, so the color ratio is going to come across quite weird, but the numbers do kind of make it even out a little bit. So, and of course, she does keep that nice trend of having different effects based on the amount of damage you have in clock. So if you have 2 or less damage in clock, she's going to have 2,000, get 2,000 power. And if you have 4 or more, she's going to get an extra soul. So very nice card there. Next up, we have 4 copies of the trial deck Kurumi, known as Engraved Despair. So it is a level 1, 4/5 power. During your turn, if all your characters have Daedalus Spirit, she gets plus 2k. And you can climax combo with Gate, which we don't run, but you can run it if you want. You take a damage, and when you play Wii, which is a Gate, you get to, this is in your front row, you can choose one of the following abilities. Search for up to 2 copies of Engraved Despair Kurumi from your deck, or 2 copies of Engraved Despair Kurumi from your waiting room, and put them in separate stages. The reason why I don't like it is you can't get 1 from each if you need to. You have to get 2 from the one area. Otherwise, she doesn't really search you, but she does put herself on the field, and I guess that's very flavorful for Kurumi. At this stage, I'm just running it because it's a beat stick, and I much rather run the Bunko Kurumi Climax, of course, which is Pants Trigger, so I get more access to the standby trigger for my grade 3 if I need it. The last 2 characters we play at grade 1 are 2 copies of Kurumi Cute Side. Has Hand on Claw, and when one of our Spirit or Bunko characters attacks, she gets 1/5 until the end of the turn, so nice there. Just because... sadly, Kurumi doesn't have a lot of grade 1s that, well, are red. All her grade 1s are blue, basically, so we do need to splash a bit of blue for grade 1. But obviously, if you want to, you can run the Coterie grade 1, would work really well, because you are running a lot of yellow anyway, so feel free to run that in the deck if you want. The last 2 level 1s we play are 2 copies of the level 1 Coterie event, so we do get to run Coterie as well. So this is My Little Shido, so you could pay 1, and it's a cost 1 event, so when you can't play it from your hand, if you don't have a Daedal Spirit character, everything in the deck is Daedal Spirit. So you can you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add any 1 card from those to your hand. So really good card. You can get climaxes, you can get characters, you can get events, really great. Also works really well with the theme of the set. Like, if you looked at some of the other revealed Data Lab cards, the set's pretty funny. 1 card actually reveals your hand to your opponent and does something based on the number of cards of that type you have. It's pretty funny. Level 2, we have 2 copies of Swimsuit Kurumi. She's a 2/5 counter, and when we play her, we can pay 2 to refresh our deck. Last grade 2 is the Tenka event from Bunko, just because it can remove a trait. Card is so powerful against specific decks, why wouldn't you run it? Grade 3, so we're actually, originally I was running the Bunko grade 3, And then we got more red cards, so I actually changed it to the new Kurumi. This card is absolutely ridiculous. It's called Worst Spirit Kurumi, which is a lie because she's the best spirit. So she's 9/5 power, Date Spirit. If you have 2 or more other characters with Dateless Spirit, she gets plus 1k. Although when she enters the field, you can heal 1, which is great. Climax combo with Standby. When she attacks, if you have the Standby on your Climax area and you have 2 or more other Dateless Spirit characters, you get to choose one of the following effects. So basically, she has 3 effects, and they're all free. As long as you just have to have 3 characters on the field. Like, it's ridiculous. So the first effect is your opponent puts all stock into waiting room, and you put the top card of your deck into stock. Yes, you destroy your opponent's stock, and then you get to stock charge 1. I think that kind of makes up for the fact that she can't summon herself out from the deck. You basically destroy your opponent's stock. Her second effect that you can do is you can return 3 cards from your opponent's waiting room back to the deck and shuffle it. And her last effect is you can discard 2 cards from your hand, and if you discard 2, you get to deal 3. So you can destroy your opponent's stock, then put non-climax cards back into the deck, and then you can burn them. And you get to attack each time as well. This card is absolutely ridiculous, and she heals as well. That is absolutely insane. The last 2 characters played in the deck are 2 copies of Origami and Kurumi Tempting Maids. I might actually drop this just to 1 copy and maybe run 2 copies of the old Kurumi because we do have Standby in the deck and we're running the old Kurumi Climax anyway, unless she gets another card. This card heals on play and on attack, pay 5, ditch 2, restand. You know, you don't really pull off the restand too much, but at the end of the day, it was a healer in the old deck, but I might change it out. We'll have to wait and see. Finishing off the deck, then take a look at our Climax spread. So first off, we have 4 copies of Journey of Death. This is a pants trigger. Combos with the Bunko grade 3 Kurumi, so if you are going to run that as well, you can. I honestly think the new Kurumi is better, and I'm a little bit annoyed that she got a new grade 3 when her old grade 3 was perfectly fine, but her new grade 3 is ridiculous, so it's perfectly fine at the end of the day, I guess. And we're also playing 4 copies of the Standby, which is, of course, Fearless Smile. Combos with our grade 3. Of course, being Standby, hopefully Kurumi gets some higher grade cards, like maybe a 2/2, so we can really justify running this Standby. And I've had a lot of people suggest that I do run the old Kurumi as well, just because you can Standby her out, or you can even Standby the new Kurumi as well, and that's of course why I really want to run the pants over the gate, because if you do play this and you can, or you trigger it Standby out, or then you trigger pants, you can get the Standby out, so you can get the Kurumi going at grade 2. So if you're able to destroy your opponent's stock while you're at grade 2, that can be absolutely detrimental to their game. The new Kurumi is absolutely insane if played at the right time. But anyway, guys, that is it for the profile. Remember that this is a work in progress, and I am looking to add new cards to it once we get new cards revealed. And I'm really keen on making some other mono character decks as well. I really want to try making a pure Coterie deck. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to make a pure Toka deck. She does have 2 grade 3s at this stage, so that should be relative, and a level 1 combo. So it should be relatively easy to make a pure Toka deck, with the exception, of course, adding a few cards here and there. Origami should be possible. She does have technically 3 grade 3s and that level 1 combo. So anyway, if you guys are keen on seeing those, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check out the other Weiss profiles I have over on the channel, particularly the original Bunko Pure Data Live deck I did. I've also got a Pure DXD and a Pure Korewa Zombie Discard deck up as well. So if you'd like to see them, I'll put links to those in the video description, so you guys can go check those out if you want. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.